So tell me, how do you like your horror? Do you like it black, pitch black? Do you like the dark? Do you like the kink? Or are you more of the pastel goth type? You like it a little more fluffy, a little more spoopy, a little more fun? Or are you like me and you like a bit of everything? We're greedy that way, aren't we? Well, whatever your particular taste in horror or spookiness is, this is a very fluffy dress and I want to show it off. The Halloween Fairy has got you covered. So come with me tonight in a little journey into the world of Halloween and spookiness. So I'm going to recommend some books, some that I've read, some that I've not read, that are on my TBR for the season, that I think are perfect to read in the last couple of weeks of October, and particularly a lot of these feature Halloween on page in the book, so kind of perfect for the season, right? So like I said, I think I've got something for everyone, and hopefully perhaps some things you haven't thought of to read or seen. And then there's some really popular ones. So I am going to start with, I'm going to start with fun. If you like the more fun side of Halloween, so me personally, Tim Burton, right? Tim Burton is my hero, but I love the really dark, really kind of hide under the covers stuff. But I also really love the kind of tacky, fun American side of Halloween, can I say? So you've got Samhain, and then you've got Halloween. So I always think books that are just fun and campy to read are kind of like middle grade or more kind of children's books around Halloween. So I've got 3 here that I am going to be reading this Halloween week. The first one is a creepover book, and this is kind of like Goosebumps, that sort of genre. And this one is called what's it called? No Trick or Treating. So this is basically about a girl. She moves from the big city into a small town, and she discovers that in this town, they don't celebrate Halloween. I'm sorry, what? What? So that's her reaction, exactly. She goes and she says, no, this isn't right. We are going to go out trick-or-treating and celebrating Halloween. And I think things might go a little bit awry, shall we say. Then I've got 2 more books. And that is 2 books that are actually retellings, reimaginings, or continuations of The Nightmare Before Christmas. So like I said, I am a massive Burton fan. And obviously The Nightmare Before Christmas has to be watched this time of year. So I've got this one. This is Sally's Lament, and this is part of the Twisted Tales by Mary Mancusi. And this one, the premise here is, what if Sally was the one to discover Christmas Town and not Jack? That would be fun. Also, this one I'm actually going to read closer to Christmas because it focuses more on Christmas Town. And then the other one is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, and this is by Shea Earnshaw, who I've read from before, and Wicker Deep. Again, if you like YA horror, Wicker Deep's been fabulous. So Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, this one, sorry, my jewels are melting off, is about Sally and Jack's relationship, mainly about Sally. She is now queen of Halloween Town, and happily ever after, right? But is it really happily ever after? Right, next. So we've done sort of some of the fun stuff. Let's do some more of the psychological horror. So the first one that I have here, and I am really enjoying this. I'm kind of halfway through this book, and that is the Hitchcock Hotel. This is set in October at a hotel. So this man, Alfred, his idol is Alfred Hitchcock. He loves him, loves all his films, and he is a major film buff. He opens a hotel called the Hitchcock Hotel, which is themed around Alfred Hitchcock and his films, which, by the way, is really cool, and I would love to go to the hotel. But we soon find out that something happened when he was at university, and he decides to invite his 5 friends, they were like the group, back to this hotel in October. Just them, hanging out in this hotel together. And creepy shit starts to happen. And this, I was reading the author's note, and the author is Stephanie Rubble. And she was saying that she was a lifelong Hitchcock fan, and a lot of the themes in this book are based on kind of Hitchcock themes. So she says this novel examines many of the themes that were an obsession for the master: voyeurism, vengeance, paranoia, and guilt. So this is very much in that kind of psychological thriller horror vein. Then I think if you like things creepy, if you like a bit of psychological horror, but you really want some ghosts and you want a classic. Now, classics for horror and Halloween, Frankenstein, Dracula, of course, absolutely. But may I suggest Phantom of the Opera? Because I don't see people actually suggest this one, and this is one of my favorite classics. So this is about a haunted opera house. I'm sure you all have either seen the film or the stage adaptation that Andrew Lloyd Webber did, but Phantom of the Opera is essentially, it starts off with the current managers of the opera house, and they are retiring, and they tell the new managers, they give them sort of a set of rules to follow for managing the opera house, and they go, oh, and by the way, there's this annotation at the bottom of the lease, and it basically means you have to keep box 5 open for the Phantom. You can't sell that box to anyone because he likes to, watch the opera. And you also have all these employees of the opera saying that they've seen this apparition, and the new managers are like, bullshit. Yeah, you're having us on. They think they're joking. So they obviously sell box 5, and the Phantom isn't happy. You also have another storyline, which is kind of the more psychological piece of it, and you have Christine, who is one of the opera singers, and she's kind of a rising star in the opera, and she does this one performance where it's spectacular, it's incredible, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that anybody can sing like that. And then one of her admirers kind of goes backstage, and he hears her talking in her dressing room, and she basically says, I sing for you, I'm performing for you, and she's very distraught. And when he looks, there's no one in her dressing room. So this is kind of an obsessive love story. There's actually a love triangle, so the ghost, Christine, and the gentleman who loves her. And then, of course, you've got this haunted opera house aspect. It is fantastic. I just think fabulous. And like I said, I don't hear many people recommend that. Then, if you like more of your suspense kind of Gothic horror, Mexican Gothic, and I am just going to gloat over that cover. Is that not? They've reissued it in this kind of really cool, pulpy, Hardback Some Hell kind of cover, which I had to have. I've got another version of it. But anyway, enough cover appreciation. Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is, I always say, for fans of Crimson Peak. If you love that kind of classic Gothic mansion marrying a man, and then you come to realize he's got secrets and he may not be who you think he is. Mexican Gothic. It is absolutely fabulous. Lots of suspense. Like I said, a lot of that classic Gothic kind of horror, but nothing too horrific. But this house is pretty damn scary, so love that. Then, speaking of scary houses, may I suggest Diola? And this is by Jennifer Thorne. This is probably more summery in setting, but is very damn creepy. So you have a family who's going like on a family vacation to Italy, and they come to this house, and basically the locals are all looking at them weird, and I can't believe you're going to that house. And it turns out that the house has a history, and it's kind of haunted and kind of sentient, and all hell breaks loose, and there is a creepy scene with the kids. And then what I will say about this book is you've got that bit, but then they go home, and you think it's all over, and it's not. And then another one for my final kind of creepy atmospheric Gothic houses. This is the one that's on my TBR for the month. So this is In the Lonely Hours by Shannon Morgan. And this is set in Scotland. Now, honestly, nothing creepier than a wet, dreary October in Scotland. And it's about a mother and daughter, and they inherit this Gothic crumbling mansion in Scotland. And they celebrate and they actually talk about Samhain on the back of this book. So there is apparently a family secret, a family history, kind of the land needing payment, and something goes down on Samhain. So this is, I cannot wait to read this. I will report back. Now, do you like your horror a bit bloodier? Do you want blood dripping from your covers? Do you want slashes? I give you Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. This is fabulous. Don't be deceived by the pink cover. There is a lot of pink in here, but this is kind of in that classic slasher vein. So this is basically a retelling of the French Revolution in a modern house with modern peasants, aka the servants, revolting against this horrendous rich family who just take everything for granted. And the ways in which they kill this family, it is so creative, it is so bloody, it is very short, but it is fabulous. So if you're a slasher fan, I highly recommend that. Then if you want slasher plus gut-wrenching social commentary, Cuckoo. Now, you may have seen Cuckoo the movie, which I liked, but is absolutely nothing like the book. I'm sorry, where did they get that plotline from? Because it's not from this. No, they got the name from this, and that was it. Anyway, I could go on about that for an hour. But the book, oh my gosh, the book. Okay, so the book basically centers on a group of children that are sent to a gay conversion camp. And what they do to these children, they torture them. And this is, I'm telling you, this is hard to read. I actually saw this in the YA section the other day, and I was like, ooh. Even though, obviously, a lot of these people are young, they're in their teens, they get sent to this camp, but this book is hard. It is gut-wrenching. It'll make you cry. It'll make you, I mean, depending on how strong your stomach is, gag at some of the things that happen, but it's horrendous what they do. There's also kind of like a sci-fi kind of fantasy, sci-fi more element to it, which is really cool. It has a lot of kind of horror genres mixed into it. They seek revenge, so then you're talking slasher, but it is this, you've got to have a strong stomach for this one, because wow, this is amazing, but is, you know, not for the faint of heart. So not for your Pastel Goths, that one. Then if you want to go even darker, do you want to go darker? Exquisite Corpse, Poppy Z. Bright. Now, I've got one word for you. Cannibal. Cannibal. This is basically about cannibals. So it's about a guy who has a penchant for picking up very attractive young men in New Orleans, taking them back to his mansion. It's always a mansion. Having his way with them. So again, if you don't like that kind of adult content, and best stay away from it. Obviously also queer, because he is a gentleman and he's picking up gentleman callers, and he then dismembers and eats them. This is brilliant. This book, I mean, it is out. Anything Poppy Z. Bright wrote is outstanding, but I'm telling you, trigger content warning on that one. This is that one's that's for your death metal goths. That's for us that are like, yeah. Anyway, moving on. This is probably somewhere in the middle. So this is on my TBR, and this is The Silver Eyes, and this is Five Nights at Freddy's. So this is a whole franchise. And basically, this is 10 years after the horrific murders at Freddy's Pizza that ripped the town apart. Charlie and his father, who own the restaurant, and their friends unite for the anniversary. So this place has been locked up and abandoned since the massacre that happened in it. But they basically decide that they're going to go in there and spend some time. That just sounds like a really bad idea, but a fabulous book. So this sounds like it's going to be slashery, perhaps haunted. Good time. Then, on the slightly lighter note, This is also on my TBR. This is How to Survive a Horror Movie by Scarlett Dunmore. This is a YA book. This is apparently about a girl. She is a horror movie enthusiast. So she enjoys all things slasher and horror. But then someone starts killing off her classmates at school. And she finds herself in a real life slasher novel. And then, and it gets better. She then gets haunted by her dead peers. Does that not sound? This is just... I'm hoping this kind of looks Pastel Goth, but goes a bit death rock on me. Yes. Talking about going a bit death rock. All the Devils. If you like the school setting, if you like secret societies, I think this is... I would describe this as Ninth House, but YA. So it's not as dark as Ninth House, but you've got a girl whose sister supposedly died, and she's like, she's not dead. I'm gonna go find her. I'm gonna figure out what happened to her. And she's left her all these kind of cryptic clues which lead to this academy that her sister was studying at, and to a group of friends, and I use the word friend loosely, who also are, guess what, a secret society that enjoy worshipping demons and sacrificing people. This also has like a alternate universe portal type of aspect to it that I really, really loved. And it's set at Halloween. It has Halloween in it. So what's more Halloween than sacrificing people to demons at Halloween? Then, where shall we go next? I know, I got you. So you want to do Halloween, but you're just really not into all this horror stuff. Maybe you're into a little dark romance, little smut for your Halloween. Grimstone by Sophie Lark. Now, I will say, not really my favourite read, but if you love Sophie Lark and you're looking for something that has a bit of a spooky setting, the town of Grimstone in this is very cool. My gripe with this is that there wasn't enough storyline and there wasn't enough of the town and the spookiness for my taste. But there's a lot of the sex. Oh yeah. Basically, this book is scene, sex scene, sex. So if you're looking for true Halloween smut, I will say content warning for assault in here. So just be careful of that. But there are some really creative scenes. Halloween is in here. So this is set at Halloween. And the whole atmosphere of this kind of town is very spooky and gothic. And there's a really cool twist in the end of this. So, you know, that's for all my smut girlies out there. If you want a bit of smut, but you want a bit of fun, you want a bit of a laugh and you want vampires, may I suggest Rachel Harrison's So Thirsty. I love this book. So this is my kind of book. We have two friends. They're celebrating one of their birthdays. They meet some fun, interesting looking strangers in a bar. These fun, interesting looking strangers take them back to their mansion. Always a fucking mansion. And there may be an orgy. And there may be some biting involved. Some blood drinking involved. It's a good time. Then, if you want a bit of horror, you want a bit of spook, but you also really very much like sweet romances, and you don't want to go too far. So you're really the Hello Kitty kind of goth. You know, you like the dark side, but you prefer a lollipop. May I suggest Evocation by S.T. Gibson? Now, I again will say I expected something darker from this. I liked it, but again, I wish we'd gone darker. So this is about, the core of this is actually a romance between three people. So you have a married couple and a man, and the husband and the married couple used to date the man. So it's sort of a poly romance. But also this guy's family made a deal with the devil. So this is the bit that I liked. For them to have success in business and be very rich. But the devil demands a soul in payment. And it's coming up to his birthday. And perhaps he is the soul that the devil wants. So they have to work together to save his ass. Now, I would would have liked more of that aspect, and you did get some of that because also Moira, the female character, she is like a tarot reader, and they all practice witchcraft. Our main character, I think David is his name, he's a necromancer, very cool. They are part of a society that practices witchcraft and esoteria, and I loved all that, but apart from the end where stuff goes down, it is very mild, and a lot of it focuses on the relationship. So I would say this is lighter on the scary stuff. Two more that are lighter on the scary stuff, and then I'm going to end on the dark stuff. So we have got Rewitched, which this cover is so cute. So Rewitched is about a witch. It's her 30th birthday. She's coming up to her 30th birthday, and she has to do a trial to, you know, prove how she practices magic. She's not very good. It's a bit lame. So they basically tell her that she has the month of October, so 30 days, to work with a mentor who has quite a dubious reputation, may I say. And on Halloween, she will be retested. And if she fails, she's getting her magic taken away. And if she passes, she can keep it. So this is very sweet, but very fantasy, magical as well. So if you like that side of it, that's perfect. And like I said, it's got Halloween in it. And then this one here is on my TBR. So I've read Rewitched. This one, best hex ever. This is by Nadia El Fassi. This is my Halloween romance. So you have two people, trying to remember what their names are, Dina and Scott. Dina is a kitchen witch, and she also owns a cafe. And then Scott is a museum curator. Very fucking cool jobs. And they meet over a weekend in Halloween. Now, let me read you the description. After a weekend in the countryside full of peculiar hedge mazes, palm readings by candlelight, and a midnight Halloween ritual, there's no denying the chemistry between them. But there's just one problem. The hex still holds, and Dina knows that Scott is in danger. So I think it's like a practical magic situation where she's hexed, and if someone falls in love with her, at least that's what I'm hoping for. Not that I'm hoping he dies, but you know. And then I'm going to end on the two books that are the ones that are contenders for my Halloween night read. So I have got Kill Creek. So Kill Creek is about this very, very haunted house. And they send in a bunch of horror novelists into this house to spend the night on Halloween. Because, you know, what could possibly go wrong? I think that this sounds fantastic. I love the fact that apparently a lot of the characters in here are send-ups of real horror authors. And it just sounds like it's going to be an absolutely wonderful, scary, hopefully blood-drenched kind of read. I'm more death metal, by the way. And then you've got All Hallows by Christopher Golden. This one sounds wonderfully spooky, and it's set in the 80s. So I could put a bit of, what was his name? Alice Cooper on. Get my 80s on. So we've got All Hallows here. And this story is, it's like a family drama, part of it. But the other part of it is that it's Halloween night, and all of a sudden, these 4 children appear, and they start wandering around on Halloween night. And nobody knows, this is set in Massachusetts as well, and nobody really recognizes these kids. They don't know who they are, and they're kind of walking from door to door. And the families are falling apart in the background while this is happening, and everybody's like, who are these children? What are they doing? And why are they so creepy? And I will say the reason this scares the out of me is I find creepy kids really scary. I find kids scary, frankly. Kids are scary. Dolls, kids. But this just sounds really wonderful, really creepy, really weird. Getting kind of like It Shining type of vibes. I just think this could be a really great read. So those are my contenders. So like I said, everything from cannibals to kitchen witches. I hope you found something that you might enjoy. Let me know what your read is for Halloween, and let me know if you're a death metal or a pastel goth. And I will speak to you all very soon. Bye bye.